Morning all, Chris Pringle here from Baker Pringle Chartered Management Accountants. So this video is based on the Chancellor's announcements yesterday evening, which was the 20th of March 2020. So it's now morning of Saturday, 21st of March 2020. So this is particularly aimed at sole traders and self-employed. I've done another video which has just gone live on our YouTube channel for limited company owners. So focusing here on sole traders and self-employed. So just go through the press release which came out late last night. Some of this is not relevant, so we'll just skirt through the bits which are not relevant to you and just focus on the most important things. So some of you I know are employed, so although you're self-employed, you also have employees. Now, they announced yesterday that if companies who have had to furlough their workers, so what that means is that effectively you can't trade. So if you can't trade and you can't pay your workers, so they've all been laid off effectively, or they're not working from home, then there is going to be some grant funding of up to 80% of your employees' wages, up to a cap of £2,500 a month. So that sort of equates to a salary of £37,500 if you take the 80%. Now, this doesn't apply if you use subcontractors. This is purely for employees. Now, the mechanism for paying that hasn't yet been announced, and the Chancellor hinted that the grant funding might not be available until the end of April. So in the short term, there is these coronavirus business interruption loans available. They're going to be applied. You're able to apply for those from Monday the 23rd. So if you feel you need to get one of these loans, they're interest-free for 12 months, then please get in contact with us. We'll help you. We've got our staff all focused on this for the next few days, and we'll help you through that. So the loans are 80% that's or guaranteed by the government. Like I said, the government, they're not interest-free, but the government is paying the interest, so you won't have to incur any additional expense there. So they should be quite easy to get because the government's basically guaranteeing the vast majority of these loans. So they should be quite easy to get hold of. Now, for those of you who are VAT registered, the any VAT from the period of 20th of March till the 30th of June, so if your VAT return falls within that period, that is being deferred. So you won't have to physically pay your VAT, your next quarterly VAT bill at the moment. It's not being written off, it's just being deferred. So you'll get until the end of the next tax year, which will be the 5th of April 2021, to get all that up to date. So that is an automatic. So if you've got direct debits going through, I believe they won't be taken. And if you pay by bank transfer, then you won't need to do so. Obviously, you can do if you want to, but if you want to hold on to the cash to get you through this particularly challenging period of time, then you won't need to pay that. Now, the other thing which is only for self-employed people, and this doesn't affect everybody who does attached to them, but self-employed sole traders, your second payment on account, which is due on the 31st of July, has now been deferred to the 31st of January. So again, that buys 6 months worth of cash flow for your next tax liability that would have been due in the end of July. So again, not an immediate fund available, but it does mean that if you've saved that money, then you won't have to pay that over for another 6 months. So if you need to use some of that to get by, then you've got a bit longer to do it. If you're already behind on taxes, whether that is income tax, payroll tax, or VAT, HMRC have got a time to pay scheme. They've had this for as long as I can remember anyway, but it is now being scaled up. So the best thing to do is not just bury your head in the sand. If you owe any of those taxes, don't just not pay them. HMRC have got a specific phone number. If I just click on the link here, here's the telephone number. It's 0800 015 9559. The link to this will be in the video. So phone them up, arrange a payment plan or payment holiday with them. They're very flexible and there's no set rules. It's all purely down to individual circumstances. Okay, so we'll just go back. Right. So if you're sole trader and you have employees who are off ill, you're still trading, but they're off ill due to COVID-19, then in the past, you would have had to pay statutory sick pay yourself, but the government will reimburse up to 2 weeks per eligible employee. So I believe an eligible employee is anybody who earns on average £118 a week, which equates to just over £6,000 a year. So if you're off, if you've got an employee off ill, then you'll be able to claim that back. Again, hasn't actually got a mechanism of claiming that back at the moment, but if you need to get the money in ASAP, then these loans, which will be available, interest-free loans, will be available from Monday. Be able to borrow that to pay the sick pay to your staff, and then when you get the grant funding, hopefully by the end of next month, is what I'm led to believe, then you'll be able to pay that loan back. So business rates, sole trader who's got business rates has announced if you've got small business rates relief there or rural rates relief, then you'll be able to claim, depending what industry you're in, between £10,000 and £25,000. If you have a business rates bill, if you could please email a copy over to us, info@bakerpringle.co.uk. We will have a look at that and advise you what level of business rates relief or grant funding you will be able to get. So this doesn't apply to people that work from home. You would have had to have a business premises like an office or a shop or a salon or bar, restaurant or yard, etc. Okay, so same, this is for people in the leisure, retail and hospitality. There's up to £25,000 available for those if you have business rates. So the business interruption loan, briefly went over that. This is going to be available for all businesses and it's delivered by the British Business Bank. The government is backing 80% of the loan, guaranteeing 80% of the loans, which means that the lenders should be fairly flexible and should be easy to borrow the money. You can borrow up to £5 million. Obviously, it's going to be tested. So if you're turning over £40,000, you're not going to be able to borrow 5 million, but you should be able to borrow enough to get you through this difficult period. The government is paying the interest for 12 months, for the first 12 months. So they're interest free for that period of time. If you still have the loan after 12 months, there'll be interest. But if you pay it back within that period, then you've effectively borrowed free money for 12 months. Again, this is going to be available from Monday, and there are 40 banks enrolled in lending this. So if you need to borrow the money, please get in contact with us early next week. I suspect we're going to have quite a lot of calls, so please bear with us, but we will help you go through that process if you need the help. Larger firms are not relevant here. So time to pay, we've already been through that. As I said, please, if you owe money, tax, don't just bury your head in the sand. Phone up, time to pay, 0800 01 59559. You'll need your UTR number or your VAT registration number or payroll reference number, depending on what tax it is, and arrange a plan with them or a payment holiday. Now, something that is more specific to you as individuals. So at the moment, or in the past, you've not been able to claim sick pay. So self-employed people, if you've been ill, have not been actually entitled to anything. But they've extended payments to self-employed people. So you will now be able to claim universal credit if you cannot work at the moment, or there's this new employment and support allowance. So if we just click on this, so just to make clear, this is for if you can't work for illness. We'll click on this first. So what this is basically it's a benefit. There's a whole variety of different criteria here, so please read through. But what they have done is the eligibility, there used to be a cap on how much you had to earn before you could entitled to claim this, but I believe that that's been relaxed. So you need to either have a doctor's note or there's this new coronavirus sickness note you can apply for. I went through that on a video I did yesterday or the day before. So if you look for our YouTube channel, there's details on how to get that, or you can fill in the claim form here. So I'd recommend that you you get onto this as soon as possible in order to get funding over to you. So just go back a moment. So like I said, there's universal credit or this new employment and support allowance. So if you want to have a look, you can claim these online on the website. I'll put the link to this in the video. If you need help with this, please contact us. The office phone number is 01920 897 116, or send an email to info@bakerpringle.co.uk. And or if you've got mobile numbers for your account manager, then please speak to them, and we will help you through this. We've booked off the whole of next week to help people in applying for loans and applying for funding, so we will do that for you. Now, there's also, if you are in rental accommodation, there is also through this universal credit support for paying your home rent. So again, you can look through this and see if it's applicable. So that's just a brief overview. I suspect there may even be more in the coming days, depending on how bad things get. But there is support for you guys, and we're here. We've got lots of ideas for helping people to diversify their business. So if you need some inspiration or just want to talk a few things, please give us a call. We're here to help. That is our job, and we want to support as many of you as possible through this difficult time. So if you could, if you just subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Baker Pringle Chartered Management Accountants, or our Facebook page, and just follow. If you follow us on here, we're putting updates. Can't do a video for everything, but we're putting updates on here on several times a day as and when things come about. So if you follow us on both of those channels, give you some more comprehensive information, and we'll be, if you need some more tailored, please get in contact and we will talk you through the options. So have a good weekend and speak to you soon. Bye.